lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. I'm going to pay particular attention to this bit. Please share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So I know a lot of people are moaning that we don't get a massive amount of publicity out of YouTube, and the way to combat that is to please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Jose and Anthony. Hope you're all.
Hey.
Hope you're both well.
Good morning.
Good to have you. Good to have you.
So let's get straight into it, shall we?
I was going to say, should we get into housekeeping and then?
Yeah, let's get straight into it.
Any signs of curvature?
Can we define curvature? Can
Something
we say
curving,
that curvature can also
Earth
be flat?
curving. A curve.
Yeah, can we say that it can also
Earth.
be Earth being flat?
Say again.
Well, you know, like if the Earth's flat, right, and they try and present it mathematically with like a curve, then flat is curved, right? Because maths is reality according to some.
Indeed.
So on that basis, you're gonna have to present my screen, sir.
Okie doke.
So present to screen, entire screen. All right. So let me just pull up her thingy. Sandra's video. Let's go back to Sandra's video.
You make it full screen.
I will do. Right. So again, we're going to give massive shout outs to Sandra P900 Coolpix. Basically, I'll speed this up because I don't need to. I'll be really quick with it. This photo is the opposing position to what Miles the Liar Davis is. It shows that we cannot live on a sphere. That mountain is miles away. I think it was 60-something miles. And the turbines are shrinking because of perspective. The mountains are also shrinking because of perspective, but they're not dropping behind no curve. That's a problem if you believe we live on a little ball, because the little ball's got a fixed size and it can't change. And you've got a curve calculator that begs the question, but allows us to see what we should see if we live on a sphere. But both the curve calculator model things are wrong because they don't account for perspective. They don't make the objects shrink as a function of distance. And we can test that. Now, as a result of this video yesterday, Rumpus came in and he tried to beg the question. Now, it's a bit bittersweet because on the one hand, we could allow him to beg the question and then come up with some refractive nonsense, which we know he's going to do. He's done it all the time. Or alternatively, you can decide that you're not going to allow him to beg the question and stop him from even doing so. Either way, it's bittersweet because if you get one, you don't get the other. If you get the other, you don't get the first. So either way, we win. But the point is, we can see this thing from this mountain from various vantage points around. Now, obviously, Sandra's video happens to be particularly good quality video, right? But there is one that goes further than this, and it's the Stephen Cheatley video. So basically, let me hide that. When we're seeing all these mountains at 86 miles, not 60 odd, 86 miles away, this is what we couldn't do with Rumpus yesterday because Nathan decided not to, right? Whatever. But if you would have begged the question yesterday, we would have seen the 86-mile away mountain be behind 1,667 feet of curvature. But the mountain's only 1,400 feet. So the whole thing should have been gone. But we clearly see it. So this has taken us back full circle, and we end up back with Stephen Cheatley's image because Stephen Cheatley's image is a little bit further back on Winter Hill. So what I'm going to show now isn't Stephen Cheatley's image just yet. I'm going to tell people what the curve calculators are not doing. I'm going to remind people, because if you're new to the show or you've not been keeping up with it, and this might be the first time you've seen it, basically these mountains shrink as a function of distance. And when they shrink because they're 86 miles away, they're a lot smaller to the observer than what it is when it's right in front of you. Because obviously you'd be looking up to the top of it, but by the time it gets down there, you're looking down on it. So when you shrink that 2,000-foot mountain as a function of distance at 86 miles, then that mountain is going to be a few pixels on the horizon. But that's not the rest of the maths. The maths gets worse because there's a secondary function if we live on a sphere. Of course, the secondary function is that it has to go onto a curve. So if we live on a curve, the mountain's got to shrink as a function of distance, but it's also got to drop into that curve. And it clearly doesn't do it because we're seeing the full mountain. Sure, there might be a little bit of dirt on the horizon, blotting out that last little bit, the beach. Shout out to, what's his name? Cat Earth. But the point remains that we can still see the whole of the mountain. So this is the Stephen Cheatley image. And basically this needs massive kudos because this is like a stacked image, right? And it's not perfect because it's stacked, but what it does clearly show is that Snaefell there, we're seeing the whole mountain, right? And from this distance, I can't remember what the distance was, but it was on Winter Hill, which is further away than what Sandra was. And basically, this thing, once you've got to reduce that mountain size down as a function of distance, then drop it into the curve. And we all know that once you shrink them mountains down, they're going to appear on the horizon as little tiny dots in the maths. And then you've got to drop them into the curve. And obviously, you're not going to see them. You don't need any maths to work that out. That's what common sense tells you. But the curve calculators are lying to you. The curve calculators don't take into consideration the function of distance. They apply the curve, the refractive hidden value, against the full height of the mountain at 2,000 feet. And obviously, it's not 2,000 feet when it's 80 miles away. So that's what they're doing. They're sneakily doing it. So I'm going to plug this video, this particular this website, Fine Art America. You can type it. You can find it just by typing in Stephen Cheatley, Isle of Man, and you'll find it. But basically, you can buy his images. He's got them for sale in different formats on the right hand side. Feel free to go and buy one. At least interact with the guy, because this proves, despite what Miles the Liar Davis says, that the Earth we live on cannot be curved. Because if it was curved, this mountain would be a little dot on the horizon, and then it would drop behind the horizon, and you wouldn't see it. Don't need any maths for it. This proves that we do not live on a sphere the size they tell us. 100%. Right, I'm done. Someone's at the door.
Hey, Arwin. You there, Arwin? No? Well, I'm just going to plug your early bird show, but now you can sod you. Right, anybody else on the panel? Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety? No, Nathan, there's no evidence that we're spinning whatsoever.
No, there is none whatsoever.
Oh, that's good to know. Thank God. Any evidence that you can have a gas pressure without a container?
Don't be ridiculous. How about that? There's no evidence of that. Nobody can recreate that and show it.
Definitely not. Still a lot of people who believe in the vacuum of space, though, eh?
Yeah, they do. Big NASA and SpaceX fanboys. They see rockets going to space and they say, yeah, pressurized the system without a barrier. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's not pressing on anything. It's pressing on a vacuum, which it wouldn't be able to press on. It would disperse into. What about the distance to the sun? Any evidence of that?
There is no evidence of the sun, Nathan. We don't know what it is. It just appears to be this phenomena. We don't know what it is. Nobody can prove it's tangible.
Yeah, by definition, it is definitely intangible. So what about scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Come up with that?
Just the aberrations, but no.
Then are we appeared?
Did you boot Anthony after the
Once
show
the
yesterday?
word gravity pop out, Arwin like, no, here I am. Nah, I'm messing with you.
A little birdie tells me that you booted Anthony after the show yesterday, Arwin. Is that true, Anthony?
You did the little shit.
Me?
Yeah.
I might have.
Are you going to deny it?
Nah.
Well, oh, no denial.
You're being a total dick, so yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
We seem to regress periodically, Arwin. We seem to go back.
Now
like 3
you
months.
seem to regress, and then I respond accordingly.
Well,
Arwin's got to let
there's
this
still no
gravity
universal up and
nonsense.
down, Arwin. No matter how much you argue that there
No, it's ridiculous.
is. Prove it then.
No, I'm not talking about proof. It's just like you see it because it's there.
That's the point.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's the point.
No, that's not your point. Your point
Proof.
is the foundation of proof.
Here we go.
Looking through the relative
Here we
density
go.
concept and keep explaining, yeah, relative density, it's relative. That's why it's not included in there, because you left it out, and it works to a certain degree.
Hashtag triggered.
It's really good. No, no, you're the one that is keep on opening up your old wound. Okay, you don't need to.
I'm not the one with the wound here, dude.
But I'm not even talking about gravity, right? I'm not even trying to prove it. Because
Why did you
my line of thinking doesn't necessarily
So why did you?
prove gravity. It's just a thing that is there that you ignore.
Why did
Hold
you
on.
kick me then?
Hold on. If you're going to say
Because you were a
you're
dick,
not
that's
proving
why.
gravity, and then just assert that it's something that's there, that's
No,
outrageous.
no, that's not what I said. That's not what I said.
It's just a thing that you're there that you're ignoring. So it is there. It is real,
No,
but you've got no proof of it.
No. I said no. I'm not trying to prove gravity. I'm not even. It's not even involved. I'm just saying there's this certain alignment going on, and yeah, you can ignore
Hey, Daniel.
directions. Is all really nice, but yeah, there is this very specific orientation in which
Sorry.
these things take place.
Arwin, do you realise that the chat are predicting how long you'll be before you rage quit?
Oh, come off it. He's not going to rage quit. Let's move on. Any evidence of a
No, I'm not
self-perpetuating...
gonna rage quit. I'll just
Oh,
kick
God.
you.
He is. He's totally triggered.
Want
I
me to
can't
do
do
it
anything
right
about
now?
it. It's beyond my control now, audience. I'm sorry. It's going to go where it's going to go.
Respect, respect. There's no kicking to anybody here today.
Oh, I'll do it.
I know you
It's
will.
all up to you.
We know you
Hello,
have
Zinda.
done it and you will do it, but you're not going to do it just out of
Hello,
respect for
Hello,
each other.
Zinda. Hello.
You can tell me what to do, Jose.
Hello, hello. Good to have you, Cinder.
Guys, it was my fault that Anthony got kicked. I brought up gravity yesterday. So
No, it wasn't your
That doesn't
fault.
make it your fault.
it was my
Gravity's
fault.
a perfectly
I
reasonable
knew-
topic.
I
there's-
knew exactly how it is going to end, and yet I just asked the question to Anthony.
Oh, you were deliberately antagonizing. Oh, I'll take it all back then. Cinder.
No, he was.
Bastard.
That's what a
So
wizard
actually, that
apprentice
means
is
therefore,
supposed to do.
Oh, I want to get an opinion from Cinder then. If you were ruthlessly honest, whose wound would you say you were opening? Anthony's or Arwin's?
I think more Arwin's wound because
Hey,
he.
Miguel. How you doing?
Yeah, I think Arwin reacted a little bit more emotional to it. Yet I could understand why he did. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the complete ignorance of common sense.
Well, we're being ignorant of our latest guest, so hold on a second. Hey, Miguel,
Hello.
how you doing?
Hi, it's actually Cynical Skeptic under my real account.
Good to have you,
Hey.
Cynical Skeptic, or Miguel, whichever you
Thanks.
prefer.
Either way.
Okie doke. Definitely Miguel, because that's what it says. I can read easier
Yes.
than I can remember.
Yes.
Good
So,
to have you.
Yeah.
let's
Right.
ask our guest where he stands. Are you on the fence or what?
I'm not a bowler for sure, and shit. How should I say it? Sorry about that. I will say I think it's not a ball. We don't live in a ball, and I don't think we live in an enclosed world either. So
All right. So how do you justify the gas pressure bit then?
I don't think we have one. I think we are sort of. I don't want to be, seems crazy, but I think I'm more on the simulation theory of some sort.
Do you know, I'd rather buy into the simulation theory than be a glober. So I can't criticize you for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
more credibility in the simulation theory than there is believing that we orbit a sun.
Yeah, but it
For
doesn't help though, because even if it is simulated, it's still the simulation of matter. It's still going to function as matter functions. So that doesn't really solve anything.
Talk about unbelievable rectangular looping. Boom.
I'm not sure that you should
It's not
criticize
that
anybody for not helping.
All you have to do is just let go of your assumption
Gravity?
that all space is linear. No, gravity has nothing to do with that.
Let go of your
That's you. That's you.
Right, I've got to stop this now. Come on, Anthony. I don't want it to get beyond a joke. You are poking him too much now.
I'm sorry. I'm poking him.
Yeah.
No need. He's
Keep it
allowed
up.
to be critical.
Be
You know, just
your
because he's
show.
got a bullshit assertion about gravity doesn't mean he can't be critical of other things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just don't think
Bullshit
we
assertion, really.
Yes.
No.
I wondered how
no,
long
it's-
that'd take to get a reaction.
Oh, did I claim proof? Did I claim proof?
No, I pointed out you had no proof, but you still believe it.
No. I believe it. What?
Oh,
do
got
I
Richard.
believe?
Richard in the back chat. Here to snipe us all. Oh no, panic.
Oh no, we got Riley.
Oh no!
Okay, now I'll leave.
Right, we've got one more housekeeping
It's a fun
question.
show. We're just having fun. Go ahead, Nathan.
We got any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the center of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Nope.
You'd have to be a moron to believe that we live on a sphere that's got a molten iron core and self-perpetuates itself. When there's no evidence that iron can do it, why would you believe such nonsense unless there was proof that it could do it? It can't even prove that iron does it. So why would anybody accept it?
It's the P waves, man.
What if it was just a solid iron core? Iron core.
Well, they still need to get that magnetism from somewhere.
Well, if it's solid, it could do that potentially.
No, it's beyond the Curie
Just a
point.
giant magnet. Just a
It's beyond the Curie
giant
point.
magnetite rock.
Arwen, it's beyond the Curie point. They
Oh
can't-
no,
they can't-
please God,
No, but that's
Arwen,
only
don't-
if you assume that it's molten.
No, it's not. It's beyond the Curie point whether it's molten or solid.
We have to assume full stop. There's nothing to. Hey, Warren. There's nothing beyond. What is it? 8 miles, 12 kilometers, something like that. Well, that's it. That's how much we know. That's end of that story. Unfortunately, it'd be lovely to have a bit more of that story with a bit more investigation, real investigation, that is. But just to speculate, it's meaningless, really.
Well, for it to work, we would have to assume too that the pressure is high enough to keep a metal that should be molten solid, which is something we can't prove, I think.
But I'm going to go to the easiest route to answer this question of the molten iron core. I have seen it in coloring books, like Crayola books. But wait, I've seen like science fiction and superheroes and monsters. So sorry, that's a no.
Well, the two are often linked, right? Born in the heart of a dying star. Superman. Or some bullshit. Probably not Superman.
I was watching IML Media last night. I had a vehicle full of women, 15 women coming back from somewhere, and they didn't realize it wasn't a podcast type thing. They thought it was the radio. And they were discussing conspiracy theories, generally speaking. Not one specifically, but like 9/11, different things. But unfortunately, they started swearing, and they were like, this isn't the radio, is it? And I'm like, no, it was a podcast. I called it a podcast. So I had to ring Adam Meakin and say, Adam, don't swear, man. I've got a vehicle full of people. But they passed as a real thingy, though. A real, like radio show. It sounded like Radio 2 kind of thing. So shout out to Iron Realm Media.
Oh, they've come such a long way.
Yeah.
Can you remember the days of the constant mic checks and feeding back and no one nearing each other and half the guests not being heard and the other half being double the volume of the others? So to say that you've got a bus full of people and they're just, as far as they're concerned, it's just a radio broadcast, that's a testament to how far Iron Realm Media really have come. That's right, Nathan.
Sorry, I was just answering phone.
No worries. Go ahead, Cinder.
Just back to the iron core. Has anyone here in the chat ever seen a demonstration of iron that is 6,000 degrees hot, 6,000 degrees Celsius, pressed together to form a solid? Because this is what the globe Earth model tells us it happens.
But not only that, it becomes supercritical at that temperature, and it has no real form. They say that it's like gaseous, but like they can't describe what it is. I'm going to call it burnt, and it doesn't even exist.
They
call it super gaseous.
And it loses its magnetic force, if you want to call it force.
They say it is solid because of the pressure, yet I have never seen a demonstration of a metal that is 6,000 degrees hot pressing so strong together that it becomes solid, right? If it is solid due to pressure, it might be magnetic, all right. But I've never seen it, so it's just an idea, just a story. So yeah. First, I would have to see the demonstration that it would be possible in theory, and then I would have to go further. But I don't think I will ever see it.
No, it is definitely just made up. We've only gone 8 miles down. To whoever just posted that message, yes, the chat gets to see it. Yes, the audience also gets to see those messages as well.
Oh, okay, good, thanks.
Some of the explanation they say is not scalable, so you cannot create a small scaled model of whatever. Some of the questions that we ask, they say you cannot create a small model because the scale creates it organically and by itself. Its nature just works like that. Big scale, yes, it can work, but it cannot be demonstrated in a smaller scale. How about that for an excuse?
Well, their excuse for not having the evidence to support it is that they use sodium as a substitute. Now, I can accept that sodium will self-perpetuate its own magnetic charge because there's evidence that shows that it can. But nobody, honestly, can accept evidence that iron will self-perpetuate unless there's actually evidence that shows that iron will self-perpetuate. So unless that evidence can be existence, unless it can be brought into existence, it's just a story, guys. It's not true. It doesn't have any evidence to support it. It's like gravity, but it sounds good, but it doesn't mean it's true. Sorry, Arwin.
We have a little blessing for the people in the
Anybody
chat.
say R yet? R?
I was just about to. Perfect. You great minds and all that. So I was just going to lead a little blessing for the people in the chat that say that we should be allowing, quote unquote, analysis of this photography. So Radius Dominus, Gravitas Spiritus Sanctus Arwin. Go in peace, globeheads. In R you trust.
We should be allowing analysis of what photography?
Stuff that we just see. We need to apparently analyse it and decide whether or not it compares to a reification fallacy when they beg the question.
Well, of course it's a reification fallacy. This thing is conceptual by nature, Nathan. It doesn't actually exist. Anything that's conceptual but treated as real is a reification fallacy. It's nonsense. So why should we? We've done it for years, right? We've allowed them to beg the question for years. Why should we allow them to do it anymore? We shouldn't.
I don't think the flat earthers, it's like the ants in the movie Ants, you know, they don't realise how strong they actually are. In a simple assertion, we see this stuff because it's there, no explanation required. As soon as you're told that you must explain it by comparison to a reification fallacy, when you assume the outcome that you're trying to prove, it's like, no, you don't have to do any of that stuff. You can just look at this stuff. P. Mars replayed the conversation he and I had while he was saying that I was a dogmatist and that I needed to assess things based on their philosophical grounds. And during the argument, I was like, okay, well, look, there's a tree. Am I a dogmatist for saying tree when I look at a tree and see a tree? No. Well, he didn't say no, he said yeah. But that aside, the point still stands. You know, then there's a photograph of a boat in the mid-foreground. Nothing to do with Earth curve. It's apparently just there, right? So I pointed at it and go, boat. Does that make me a dogmatist because I point at a boat? Now you point at something else a bit further away and go, Isle of Man. Suddenly, you're a dogmatist because you don't assess that based on its validity versus a reification fallacy. That being a globe model. Well, no, I can point at it and just say Isle of Man, and there's no issue there. Why? Because I'm a flat earther and proud to say so. Because I look at stuff, see it's there, and go, Isle of Man, tree, boat. And there's no dogma involved in that. And that's extremely powerful when some wanker comes along and says, you need to assess it based on my religious belief in what the world is. No, sir, I do not.
Yeah, and let's remember what the word dogmatic means. It means of one opinion, one-sided, forceful with their view. I mean, you tell me that there's any heliocentric priests out there that's not dogmatic. They're all dogmatic. Look at them all. They're all idiots. So, like, let's not call a spade unless it's actually a spade. The guys that are dogmatic are not us at all.
On the other hand, everyone's entitled to their belief. When I point at the Isle of Man and say Isle of Man, if you want to point at the Isle of Man and say slightly looming, non-standard super looming refraction hyena of the Isle of Man, then that's your entitlement to do so. You know, if you want to believe in a reification fallacy, if you want to take solace in fallacious reasoning, then that's your privilege. Do what you like. But when it comes to people forcibly putting it onto others, that is dogma.
Correct. Hence why it is effectively a religion.
Yeah, there's a reason I call them zealots. They are.
Yep, I couldn't agree more.
Yep.
We've already had a blessing to dice at one of these little silences. No more blessings. If you haven't gone in peace, then tough.
I'm just wondering why it is. Oh, I see. I was just wondering why it was I couldn't buy my vehicle depot, and it's because I've not bought my oil refinery yet. Damn. Command and conquer rules when the ballers can't come in and defend their nonsense. Well, let's be honest, we're kicking their ass so badly that they can't come in.
What are they going to say? You must accept our reification fallacy before we make any further progress with my example that proves what I've already assumed. Yeah,
Probably
they are
isn't
pretty
it?
screwed.
You-
But that's
you
how
might not-
weak their argument is. That's why they've got to be so vitriolic when they come in and challenge our positions in this regard. Because that's all they've got. And without it, they are screwed. What have they got? Well, we figured out all the magic tricks now. Pulled back the curtain and showed all the mirrors. So what are you going to do next? Try and pull the curtains back over the mirrors and try and convince people who weren't aware or haven't seen us pull the curtain back. Oh, well, they'll find us eventually. Don't you worry.
Yeah, they need this show to stop because they can't allow it to carry on because we're killing their dreams, beliefs, views. We don't live on a sphere, boys and girls. We live on something else, whatever that is, something else is. Might not be flat, but it's definitely not what they're telling us it is. We're all being lied to, and it's people like Ruhif, M. Scott Veach, all these people that are literally lying to your face because these people realize that it can't be a sphere. I don't believe for a minute that Ruhif honestly believes that we live on a sphere. Same for Slice Barcane. I've said it many, many times. There's no way that guy believes that we're on a sphere, but he tells everybody, and it's nonsense.
But Riley, Jamie Brown went back to believing in a spinning ball. Why can't you?
Is that actually true, or is it just exaggeration again?
I've seen a comment.
Oh,
from
it's
him.
true. He put up a video, like I think it was yesterday, like an 8-minute video saying that he does believe it's a spinning ball. Yeah.
Really?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he left me a comment, said, Earth is a globe. My response, in our you trust. Prove our.
Was it really him, though, or was it his soccer account?
No, it was him.
It was him.
Really?
But same principle applies. If you want to go and believe in R, that's your bag, man. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm fine with him having a different view, but my view is that he obviously doesn't watch this show, because if he does watch the show, there's no way you can still believe. You can't change sides after watching this show. We've absolutely obliterated the fact that there's no curve there. It took us 2 years and we're back at square one. But this time we're back at square one with a totally different perspective, and we realize what the trick is. But, well, you know, if he thinks that, then he's entitled to, but he hasn't been watching the show, obviously.
Hey, Thomas. How you doing? No
You're
sound, my
losing your
friend.
voice, right?
No
Yeah.
sound, Thomas.
Blessed be.
Murder me. I don't know what's happened. It's like a cold, but without the rest of it. It's just the sore throat bit.
Hmm. You get what you mess with me.
Seems like,
Pardon?
I don't know if either of you two know, sorry to change the subject from your health, but in the last couple of months, have you noticed a distinct change in the chat feed? There's plenty more flatties that are calling out globers and calling them clowns, and it's not just totally dominated by globehead trolls anymore.
Yeah, it's because we're encouraging flat earthers to speak out. We're flat earth friendly, aren't we? Obviously. So it's like, well, it makes sense that we're flat earth friendly. So let's give people safe haven, solace, and we're basically a gang now. We're not just me, Nathan, and Ranty anymore, or whatever. It's like there's like 50 of us now, and 50 will become 100, and it's just embarrassing to be a baller still, to be honest. If you're a
And the
baller,
trolls, the trolls in the chat comment have evolved. from just ad hominem and attacks and calling morons and you guys are ridiculous and haha to actually trying to defend the points and making arguments against the flat earthers in the chat. So they are having discussions instead of just trolling, you know. So yeah,
Well,
good stuff.
No, let's be clear. It's the same trolls, but they're just not coming in on their normal accounts because they don't want to be seen to be in the show.
Yeah.
Because they're all supposed to be on protest, but they're all still watching and they're all coming in on troll accounts. Shout out to Soundly and his troll account that I caught him on.
I mean, we know they do this, and occasionally we'll call them out when they give themselves away with a particular phrase or something along those lines. But so what? You know, loyal watchers, thank you very much. You know, if you feel the need to come in on a stock account because you're a bit of a coward, then, you know, fair enough. My hat's off to you. At least you're still enjoying
I'm here to
my
call
show.
you out.
Say again?
I'm here to call you out, Nathan.
Oh, really? Go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah. Just a few moments ago, the words that came out of your mouth were so fucking ridiculous. You said, this proves what I already assumed.
Try not to swear.
Swearing.
What the fuck is that? What is
Try
that?
not to swear. Try not to swear.
Okay, what is that? Explain to me what this proves what I already assumed.
I don't actually remember him saying that.
Oh, you don't remember? Well, just go ahead and look back at the video because it's on record.
What does anybody remember that being said?
Okie
Doesn't matter. You're going to find it when you go back and look because I heard him say it.
Didn't he say that in his example of?
I have no idea why he said it, but it's confirmation bias. That's all you guys operate.
Wasn't
Well,
he
give
trying
us
to
a quote.
demonstrate that actually?
I have no idea.
Well,
Sounds to me like going back.
Okay.
to
if you have
check
no idea, then you probably didn't really
No, I have
understand
no
the
idea what he
context
was
of what
trying to
was
prove.
said
What point?
then.
No, I just overheard him say those words.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you
This
didn't
really
get
good.
the context
proves what I already
apparently.
assumed.
I think you might have missed the memo on that one, dude, to be honest.
Have a great day, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. That was superb. Excellent rebuttal.
I don't actually remember you saying that, to be honest.
Yes.
I think he did say it, but he said it in context of how ballers act. So he just didn't understand the context. Stupid.
Well, consider yourself called out there, Nathan.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Chill. That was a really good, effective calling out as well, by the way. I love the style on that one. It made me really convinced that Nathan had said it, even said it.
I assume he was a baller then.
Who knows?
I don't know.
Sometimes we get
I'm
flat
just
earthers coming
making
in
the
with that
assumption.
attitude. Often we
A
get
bit
flat
like
earthers.
assuming now.
What a twat.
No need. It's all right. People can call out whatever. If they think there's something awry, then fine. That's the whole point of having a public link. He got it off his chest. Fine. If he doesn't feel like he's addressed it, I'm sure he'll come back on tomorrow, having listened to it again in context, written it down, word for word, come in, throw it in my face verbatim, and say you moron. Until then, you know, none of us have got any context. I can't defend what I don't know because he hasn't repeated it in context.
I thought he might have come on to prove or prove something about the globe.
Yeah.
Chance
I
of
think
it
it's-
finding.
I think
Just
he's
a
one-
lot of meta accusations now. They don't have any actual arguments.
No, of course they don't. They just got ad hom attack. Nathan this, Nathan that. Rah, rah, rah.
Don't pay attention to him. He's a whisperer, probably.
Who? GeoStreamer and Soundly.
Yeah, right. He's one of the in the background I never are heard, but they whisper to the chat and through the hangouts and private links, like, no, say this in the argument, you know. And you sometimes catch him in the background noise.
Let's put the record straight. Do you remember the GeoStreamer whispering thing and Sean Hufford claimed that it had bled through my microphone and that he would find the hangout and that I'm this, that, and the other? Guess what? No evidence whatsoever of this hangout that he said existed. So another one to mark down against the idiots.
Oh, I've got a
Ghost hangout.
latest reification fallacy from Rumpus. At Stoned Roses, science is threatened by anti-education. Science isn't threatened by anything. Science is a method. Again, with the reification fallacy Tourette's.
I don't think Rumpus
Personifying it.
I honestly don't think Rumpus understands what science is, yet he preaches it, and I just find that position untenable. I don't know how you can not know what science is and preach it.
Hey,
You're a
Travis.
moron, Rumpus.
Hello, Travis.
Hello.
Hello.
What?
Have you overslept, Travis?
No, he was on my show even.
Thank you,
Oh, you
Anthony.
must have missed the memo.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I
so-
think I think Rumpus was on the first batch a few years ago, sent by whoever if he was paid or not. But then he failed, and then they fired him. But he's so motivated in this subject. He said, "No, I'm gonna argue it to the death," and he just believed. Now he's in the bowl.
I mean, he's the kind of guy that you'd want on your side. He gives a good fight, but he lies to people and tells people things that are not true. Like science is whatever he just said. Science is threatened by science isn't threatened by anything. Rumpus, you don't know what science is, dude, but you preach it. Ridiculous.
What's that like? What's later, Arwin?
Oh, I was replying to Miguel. He said he was going.
You guys are on the panel. Just interrupt. Have your conversation. No, I want
Whoa,
to pass
whoa!
notes.
Don't all talk at once. Come on, take it easy, guys. Take turns.
We want to pass it
Well,
on
if
notes
you
under
guys,
the
if
desk.
you guys want to kill some time, I just uploaded a minute-long shot of Venus this morning. It's got some interesting watery features, and I also caught some bird footage on the Chesapeake Bay, kind of like Ranty's dog. You know how Ranty's dog was going in and out of the angle of incidence?
Yeah.
I got some birds flying in and out. It's really good stuff. I'm uploading that right now, so that'll be. That's
Tilly, shut up.
Okay, if science is more than just the method, you go and tuck science in, give it a little kiss goodnight, Rumpus. Tell it a bedtime story. If it's threatened by things, you make it feel better with a kiss on the cheek.
Oh, he's talking about the subculture science that has become mainstream.
Yeah.
It's not. That's just the folk approach.
Yeah, they've hijacked science as well as perspective. Science is very useful for proving things.
It's become a cultural thing, but problem is that so much has been convoluted about it, and the method on which it rests is not really being honored anymore. It's being more poo-pooed at, shoved in the background because, hey, the people are more interested in good, interesting stories than in the facts. Absolutely.
No one's interested in the stories. We want the evidence, are we? Not stories.
That's what we
Evidence.
want. We're talking about the general public here.
Yep, the general public likes a good fable.
Yeah.
Don't take my ball away from me. We could make a song out of that.
Yeah, shout out to Flat Earth Man.
Yeah. I guess it's going to be one of those shows today, Nathan, where there's not a lot happening because the ballers don't like coming in and getting their bottom smacked.
That's right.
Yeah.
They're all screwed. I mean, if Ranty was here, I'd be getting him to poke Sly a few more times. You know, ignoring
Sly,
all distractions that he's responded with and just poking the bear again with exactly the same information.
Do you know what? I watched Sly's hangout where he was addressing Dell, and basically, Sly, you've misrepresented Dell's point. You either didn't understand it or you deliberately misrepresented it. Sly's Dell's point is simply that the camera is pointing above it's not lined up the way that Miles says it is. That's it. End of statement. The camera is pointing somewhere else. He's not saying that it creates parallax by changing the tilt angle of the camera. So that's what you were trying to debunk. That wasn't his point. So I don't know why you were debunking something that he didn't make.
Anybody seen Al K new video? Al K is talking about getting the jump in the bandwagon of Miles Davis defending him. So Al K made a new video.
I'm not surprised he's defending him. He has to defend him. It's his buddy.
Oh well, Al-K doesn't understand perspective either. They've ignored perspective, Al-K.
Yeah, Al-K, let's remind people that Al-K proved that the Earth was literally flat as a pancake with his Elsa Craig video. And then rather than admit that it was flat, he basically started doing all this nonsense about how it was not flat and curvy and all this nonsense. And even Del from Beyond the Imaginary Curve smacked his ass about it. And he still thinks that it is a curve after his Elsa Craig video. What an utter moron. It's embarrassing, Al-K.
I still get angry comments on the debunking of that to this day. So that video still seems to rack up views.
Because it's a great flat Earth proof. You can't see Elsa Craig on a ball. It gets smaller and it drops into that curve. But guess what? It doesn't do on his video. It doesn't shrink, does it? When he does the maths. Bit of a problem if you're going to tell us we live in a sphere. Was there anybody else in chat that wants to call Nathan out for something? It's getting a bit boring doing these shows without ballers with their nonsense. No? Should we just like represent more flat Earth proofs, Nathan, and just
man, I'm up for that.
Poke the bear. I can't do it at the minute. I'm still playing my game.
Serious student says at Nathan Oakley is a genius. I don't think so. Serious student. The Earth being obviously and observably flat is something anybody could observe. But thank you all the same. I appreciate the sentiment.
Nathan would be nothing without his team of lynchmen around him.
Absolutely.
It's a great day to be a flat earther. Pretty bad one if you're going to be a ball earther, to be honest. But
on the other hand, like despite flat Earth, there is a lot more space stuff out there.
Yeah, they're turning up the propaganda.
So it's also a good time to be a baller as long as you don't catch on to flat Earth.
Yeah, now's not a good time to be a ball earther. All they're doing is turning up the propaganda machine.
Right. Well,
that's why sometimes I decide.
Can't it?
Sometimes I decide to put arguments in favor of the globe, the same arguments they put in there, and to see what the argument for the flat Earth on explanations. But then I go back to the ballers talking to them, and they say like, "Oh yeah, I heard you, Nathan, but you could say this and try to defend the point more, and why you didn't like fight for it?" Because I don't believe none of this shit. I just present the argument to see if somebody has knowledge on their belief, their dogma, and their freaking stuff to defend it. But not me. I present the argument just to keep the conversation going. I don't believe in none of this shit. So if you want to defend it, jump in the panel, do it.
Especially if you believe that Pontchartrain at 16 miles shows the curve of the Earth that we're supposed to see. 16 miles. Come on. Nonsense.
Surely we should say the same and more curve at 80 miles plus, right?
Yeah.
No, that's because the Earth's obviously and observably flat. The only thing you can do to defend that is introduce a reification fallacy known as the globe model. Assess the picture based on that reification fallacy where you're assuming the Earth is a sphere with the radius value. And then, when it doesn't work out, add super looming and everything will work out. Beg the question, assume R, and then assume light bends at 7.6 R, or maybe a bit more, or maybe a bit less. Depends on how badly it works out, based on the fact that the Earth is actually flat. And when you ignore perspective, you can call it curvature. Wow, that's nonsense. The Earth's obviously and observably flat. End of story. I see a boat, I say boat. I see a tree, I say tree. I see Isle of Man, and say Isle of Man. Not slightly looming, slightly super looming, not even slightly looming anymore, super looming non-standard refraction hyena island. No, just island. Simple. Good day to be a flat earther.
Embarrassing if you still believe we live on a ball.
Have you got that video again?
Sandra's?
Yeah. Might as well rub it right in their face.
I can't because I'm playing this game.
I've been playing Command and Conquer.
Yeah. Because there's not else better to do at the minute, is there? I mean, these ballers are just crap.
Well, we could reminisce for a little while. How about that? Let's maybe we could hear from Mick West.
You can conclude this point by saying that you've accepted that it was based on an assumption. Do you still maintain that position?
Well, it's the standard model of the
Sorry,
world.
the standard model has no scientific backing. It is an assumption, correct?
Well, it's the standard model.
Sorry, the standard model has no scientific evidence. You only assume a value of R. Correct, Mick? For crying out loud, man.
Yeah.
Right. Shout out to
what we
Cynical
did-
Skeptic for the super chat. What did he say? 16 miles and only shows the last zoomed in bit. Yeah, he shows a little bit of refraction. He shows the diffraction limit of his camera. That's what he's showing. And then zooms back out a little bit to make it seem like he's giving you a pulled back view. And he's not. Yeah, just horseshit. We can easily replicate it. It's been done a zillion times.
You've seen Brian Leak in the comments.
I'm not paying that much attention, I've got to be honest. I'll pay attention
Brian-
to the super chats. That's
Brian,
really mercenary,
you're
isn't it? Shout out again for the super chat. Smash that super chat if you like the show. Sorry, yeah, what was he saying?
This is a joke, man. They obviously not paying any attention to this chat. So why am I even here? I have the proof. If anybody wants it, call me.
Oh, him. Yeah, I put it in loads of times. As soon as he said it, I keep pressing my little automated button that says, look, if you want to join the show, just mute and click the link in the info box below the video, like I say on the introduction to every video.
Yeah, I've told him a couple of times as well. He's got proof of curvature, but he can't find a link.
Really, that's a bit of a shame, isn't it?
Join the
No,
panel.
he said he got
Click the
proof
link.
of a gas pressure without a container.
Mute your watch page before you join. So what you're hearing us tell you this on, mute that, then click the link.
How do I mute?
Mute the watch page. So you're hearing us talk, stop that from happening, then join.
This is going to be some sort of proof, isn't it?
What's he got? I can't even remember what he's got proof of. Is it gas pressure without a container?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure so.
Oh, excellent. This should be a good demonstration.
Can't wait.
Yeah, he said he put his phone number. He said, "Oh, somebody call me to whatever number." He doesn't have any subscribers. He probably just I mean, he is just a troll. But if he got some kind of proof of evidence, yeah, join the panel. It's so
Gas
easy. I do
pressure
it.
without a
I do it with my phone.
He's got a solid 10 minutes to do so before we round out for a little break. Good chat before the show. So after the second show ends, the second live show on this channel, Nathan Oakley 1980, when it ends, I replay the pre-show and the first debate. So, but it was a really good chat this morning, so well worth tuning into that if you're still around later on. Also, if you're a late riser, if you only just joined the show and you missed the first half of this show, there's no DVR, although you could go back once it's obviously finished, but it's nice to watch it with a live chat running alongside. So check out my second channel, that's Nathan Oakley. I also published the link to that at the end of the second live show in the chat box, so you can go straight to it from there as well. Might as well plug my own show.
And also check out the Flat Earth Early Bird show, number 24. Yesterday, it was really interesting. I had Travis on, Zinder, and who's the other guy?
Eric was there.
Oh yeah, Eric was in. Yes, it was very good today. So also do check out our show. It was a pretty long show. It was so good. It was almost hard to break off. But
Shout out to the Plain Truth. He's always taking observations with the P900. So check the Plain Truth channel for some cool observations. Also check on
I was literally
the Soundless Layer JG Gonzalez.
I was literally just about to plug Plain Truth because I woke up this morning to FE Core's Skype group, and there was loads of back and forth pictures with Travis and I can't remember who the other person was, saying, I can't quite get the moon in focus, it's not quite there, and I'm trying this setting and that setting, and I could see like the progression of their pictures back and forth. It was brilliant. So thank you very much for that, Travis, and whoever the other person was, I'm sure you'll mention who.
It was Robert. Wasn't his name Robert?
What are you doing?
My dog's screaming. I think she wants to go for a wee wee.
Shut up.
Yeah, cool stuff. Good content Travis is doing. And I post a new video on my channel of a flashlight light disappearing from the disappearing on the distance on a flat plane in the other side of the supermarket. So you guys trolling the supermarket floor is curved. Then just check on the video. It's about 7 minutes long. Enjoy it.
I'm gonna go and get it now. I'll get that now. You've just published it, so it should be in my subscriptions feed, right? Another shout out to Leo for the super chat. Continue the great work. Will do. Absolute pleasure to do so. Right, subscriptions. Let's see if I can find Jose's video. Go ahead, Travis. Sorry to cut you off.
You are very low, Travis. Go ahead.
I'm very low. Hello, hello. I don't know why I'm low.
Yeah, I can hear you. It's fine.
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
I was just saying that it was Rob Durham on the FE Core, and yeah, I've got some follow-up footage for Walmart. So I opened my footage with getting a 4-foot level, and I traversed the entire floor with the level, showing that it's level the entire way. And then I shot the footage again with the light. So I've got to process that and get that up.
Got Jose's footage playing at the moment. I don't know if I'll just present it to you all.
Yeah, I did that. I clocked out of work earlier, and I told my boss, hey, I'm going to put this little light in the corner. Just let it be. I'm going to do a little bit of testing. He shook his head like, you crazy. So yeah, this is a very old supermarket, and the floor is, I mean, obviously flat floor because you're going to have bumps and creases. Customers are going to be falling all over the place, and you don't want to get sued, you know? So yeah, if you believe it's a curve, it's a deviation on the floor, I don't have any way to prove it. I don't have a laser. I don't have freaking bubble level to do it, but it is what it is. Things disappear from the bottom up because of the angle that you are viewing it.
Hey, it's Jose, Soundly Slayer.
Yeah.
Watching my light, huh?
Yeah.
Just doing
I'm
a cheesy
setting up.
overdub.
As we're talking, I'm setting up the P900 because I want to take a little bit of footage of the moon. It's very clear, the sky right now. I'm almost there to the end of the road to check on that light to see if I'm going to be seeing it when I get my phone down to the floor. Yeah, this is an easy test that anybody can do, this observation.
Look, the light is going down. It's going behind the curve.
And there goes.
Another bent floor.
And I dropped in the critical moment.
Well, judging from the reflections, it's not a perfectly straight floor. It's not mirror polished straight, but looks pretty consistent.
So hopefully
Yeah, now
you
I'm
guys...
setting my camera there. I'm walking all to the other side, and I'm gonna raise the light up and down. I'm just setting up the phone so I can leave it. So I'm gonna walk to the other end and grab that light and bring it up and down.
It was the perfect speed the first time you lowered the camera, Jose, because you got that limit and you saw the light appear to get brighter. Well, it's not. It's splitting into two, as described by the Rayleigh criterion. So you're seeing the diffraction limit. It's reaching that limited angle, and then you see... I know that we'll get it much better when we stabilise it, and obviously I'll reserve judgment because you might get it a much stabler image when you're raising and lowering the light as opposed to the camera. But certainly you've already got what I was hoping you would get, which is to see the diffraction limit actually in action slow enough, and you got at least 10-20 frames where it splits in two.
Yes, I try to do it nice and easy. Same in the other side. I try to raise the light and bring it down nice and smooth.
Maybe you already told it, but what camera did you use for this observation?
It's a Samsung Galaxy phone.
Okay.
I think it's 6 megapixels.
All right. So, I mean, the people who say the floor is like bendy or so, when you take the phone and put it on the ground, the camera isn't exactly touching the ground. There's still like some distance, right, from the camera
Yes,
to the floor.
yes, there is. Yep.
So then they had. Then you would also have to assume not only the floor is a little bit bendy, the floor is at least as bendy as the distance from the camera to the ground, which I don't think a supermarket floor is in reality. So, yeah.
Exactly, that's what I say. It could be a little imperfection, but inch and a half imperfection when people is walking and tripping all over the bumps, no chance.
Just to confirm, I was being sarcastic when I said the floor was bendy.
No, we got it. We understood.
Even if it was bendy, it's not that relevant.
Yeah, as Zinda correctly points out, the lens is higher than any possible rut or bump in that floor. I mean, it's obviously like a mirror, you can see it. But by the same token, if the objection is that there is something physically obstructing, i.e. the floor raises or lowers, then it would have to raise to the extent of the lens. And the lens is, well, certainly in the case of my iPhone, I think the centre of the lens is about 1.7 mil above the camera. And then you add the case on, which is another maybe 2 mil, and you end up about 1.9 mil above the floor. Well, you're not going to ever convince me that this supermarket's got almost 2 centimetres of ruts. Just no way. You've got these little casters that have to roll on it. It's never going to happen. You know, if you had that sort of incline over that distance, you would have heavy trolleys rolling, and you just can't have that. So it's nonsense to assert that there's something actually obscuring the view. It's just the angle being too limited.
That was perfect then, the horizon.
No, right now, look, I get in a little closer and the light still disappears in this point. This is almost halfway.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a bump. Oh, no, I don't think so. It's crazy. It's the optics that we haven't, what's the word?
Woo-woo!
It's like a
sunset. Good stuff.
It'll do it from here. Last time it did it from like about this distance when you did it. You know, I reckon you could do it from about 4 of these units down and it would still do it.
Yeah, I will try it again on different distances. I did it a little less than halfway, but I will try it a few times to cling. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Nice one, Jose.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Good morning, guys.
Cool. That rounds us out pretty nicely for a bit of a break. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to add.
I wanted to add good morning.
Hey, Chocolate, how you doing?
Not too bad. How you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good. You come in and Nathan is rounding up the show.
Yep. Great timing. Is this the first show?
This is the first show. We're just literally about to round out for a break, so I'm going to love and leave you to chat in the interim while I say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then smash the dislike button, then smash it again. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. Also, a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!